2024 Paris Olympiad. It is right around the corner. What should we expect from the opening ceremonies to the people who are probably going to shine on the biggest stage to the venues where it's going to be played? We'll have those details and more. You're watching BS3 presents the morning shift on Cole Johnson on Roku TV, BS3 TV Live, and BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson's YouTube channel. And you're listening to it on Real Wise Radio Network. And it starts right now. Well, good morning, Shifter. It is Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024, and welcome to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. And for the next 60 minutes, sit back and relax as we get and keep you, informed, enlightened, entertained, engaged, and spiritually fed. Along with the Olympiad, we'll talk about Olympiads of another sort. We actually might have a Veep Stakes. Well, the Democratic Party may not know who technically is going to be the front runner, but it presumably seems to be the current Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, who should she choose as a running mate? We'll touch on that later. We also will touch on searching. We all are searching for something, right? Well, what does searching look like in the spiritual realm? That is enlightened the way. All those are later, and all those are for later. But for now, let's start you up. And here's what's taking place in the world today. Wildfires ignited over the weekend engulfed hundreds of acres of land in California and Utah, prompting evacuation orders as they torched homes, threatened nearby communities, and, in Salt Lake City's case, burned near the state capitol. In Southern California, the Hawarden fire, it's about 4 miles south of downtown Riverside, began on Sunday afternoon and grew to over 520 acres, forcing residents to leave their homes as the fire rapidly expanded. 3 homes were destroyed in a roaring fire that was captured on video by local news crews. The wildfires were not only contained to California. The aforementioned blaze that broke on Salt Lake City, just north of the state capitol, it happened there where it threatened homes also and sparked evacuation orders. The Sandhurst fire was first reported Saturday afternoon, and it spread quickly over 200 acres, leading local emergency responders to knock on doors to evacuate some residents in the Healy area north of the Capitol complex. Sam Smith is looking back at the time they got out of their skis, literally. The 32-year-old revealed in a July 18th episode of Sidetracked, a podcast that he co-hosts, that he completely ripped his ACL in an awful skiing accident, which left him unable to walk for weeks. He said, quote, "I was an idiot. I went on the black slope on the second day, couldn't do it. I got taken down in the blood bag. It was the worst." Close quote. Oh, I'm glad you could recognize that, Sam. The McDonald's $5 meal is going to stick around a little bit longer, according to Bloomberg. The deal originally was released in mid-June, and it was set to run for only a limited 4-week window this summer. However, the vast majority of franchise locations have since decided to keep it around longer, according to that report by Bloomberg, with roughly 93% of the restaurants committing to an extension. Speaking of Bloomberg, a memo reviewed by them and signed by Chief Marketing Officer Tariq Hassan and National Field Director Myra Doria painted the meal deal as a success. Quote, meaning the objective of driving guests back to our restaurants, close quote. You better hope they keep driving back to that restaurant. United Airlines has removed a flight attendant from duty and apologized to former Denver Broncos running back Terrell Davis after he was handcuffed following his flight from Denver to Orange County on Saturday. United said, quote, "This is clearly not the kind of travel experience we strive to provide, and we have reached out to Mr. Davis's team to apologize. We have removed the flight attendants from duty while we closely review the matter," close quote. Davis wrote on his Instagram Monday that he lightly tapped the arm of a flight attendant to ask for a cup of ice for his son. The flight attendant then said, "Don't hit me," really loud, and then went to the front of the plane. And that is according to Mr. Terrell Davis, and glad that has been resolved. The U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee is suing an energy drink brand affiliated with a pair of YouTube stars, accusing the company of a trademark infringement. In a lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Court of Colorado on Friday, the Olympic Committee alleges YouTube stars Logan Paul and KSI's energy drink company Prime has been issuing trademark symbols and phrases as a part of a recent promotion featuring NBA star and 2024 USA men's basketball team member Kevin Durant. The lawsuit describes Prime's hydration marketing campaign as, quote, "willful, deliberate, and in bad faith," close quote, in its use of trademark phrases and symbols associated with the upcoming 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. We will touch more on that, not Prime, but the Olympic Games in Paris later on in this episode. A 72-year-old man shot and killed a grizzly bear in Montana in an encounter that left him seriously injured. The man, who has not been identified, was picking huckleberries alone last Thursday on Flathead National Forest lands, roughly 2 miles north of the Columbia Falls, where an adult female grizzly charged at him and attacked him. Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks said on Friday that Columbia Falls is a city of roughly 5,500 people in a population in northwest Montana, and it's about 200 miles from Helena. The man shot and killed the bear with a handgun in response, but not before he received significant injuries for which he had to be hospitalized for them. Sad news to report, Abdul Fakir, the stylish and genteel singer who nurtured the Four Tops legacy for 7 decades, has passed away. He died Monday morning in his home in Detroit following heart failure, and the singer's family confirmed this to the Detroit Free Press. Of course, that's part of the USA Network. Fakir was the last surviving member of the beloved Motown quartet, preceded in death by his teen friends and group mates Lawrence Payton, Opie Benson, and Levi Stubbs. The Fakir family said in a statement, quote, "Our hearts are heavy as we mourn the loss of a trailblazer, icon, and music legend who, through his 70-year music career, touched the lives of so many as he continued to tour until the end of 2023 and officially retired this year. As the last founding member of the iconic Four Tops music group, we find solace in Duke's legacy, living on through his music for generations to come," close quote. Abdul Duke Fakir, one of the fantastic Four Tops and the original member of it, dead at the age of 88. The following sports data is brought to you by the Playmakers Blog Network. In NBA, Warner Brothers, they actually decided to match Amazon Prime's offer for the NBA rights. They informed the league yesterday that it will match the $1.8 billion price tag that Amazon offered last month. Interesting times ahead. That means TNT and the like would probably still carry whatever they're going to be doing, maybe even add some coverage along with it. We shall see. And the battle between Amazon and Warner Bros. Is on. Also in NBA action in Summer League, the Heat topped the Grizzlies in overtime to win the Summer League title. I'm sorry. Had a rough night last night. From the hardwood to the gridiron, Packers quarterback Jordan Love, he will not practice without a deal. Their arch rival Bears, they granted safety Jonathan Owens to miss 7 practices to support his wife Simone Biles as she goes for gold in Paris. From the gridiron to the Olympiad, or partially the Olympiad, Team USA men, they survived World Cup champs Germany's rush to finish the showcase undefeated with a 5-0 record and a 92-88 victory over the FIBA Cup champions Germany. LeBron James led the way with 20.6 rebounds, 4 assists. Joel Embiid chipped in with 15, 8, and 5. The U.S. women will play Germany, their only showcase game, today, later, 3 p.m. Eastern. You can catch that on FS1 if you can tune in. Turning our attention to weather across the country, courtesy of the Weather Channel, it will be partly cloudy skies at 75 degrees in Seattle. It will be rainy, all the west stuff you can handle, at 77 in Minneapolis. Sun thunderstorm mix with a high of 86 in Chicago, partly cloudy and 84 in St. Louis, partly cloudy and 85 in Detroit. In the East Coast, it would be all the west stuff possible, and 75 in Boston. Rain, and more rain, and 85 in New York. More rain with a high of 91 in D.C. And down south, it will be rainy and 88 in Miami. Sun thunderstorm mix with a high of 83 in Atlanta. Rain and 81 in Memphis. Thunderstorms and 87 in New Orleans. Down in the southwest, it will be thunderstorms and 83 in San Antonio. Cloudy and 86 in Dallas. Thunderstorms and 84 in Houston. Over in the Rockies, it will be sunny and 91 in Denver. In the desert, the high mark for the country, it will be mostly sunny skies and 111 in Phoenix. It will be mostly sunny skies and a high of 109 in Las Vegas. And over on the West Coast, it will be partly cloudy skies and 73 degrees in the Bay Area. I hope things are well in San Francisco. And it will be sunny skies with a high of 89 in Hollywood, Burbank, and all points, Southern California and Los Angeles. And that's your look on weather for today. And now you've been properly started up. Coming up later, from opening ceremonies to the stars you should watch to the venues where they'll host all of these events. What's going to be special about the upcoming Olympiad in Paris? And also searching. That'll be in Lighting the Way. But coming up next, many names from Roy Cooper to Josh Shapiro to even Gretchen Whitmer. Who were these names that I'm mentioning? Well, you will find out what purpose they will serve and why it is important. You are listening to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on the Real Wise Radio Network. You are watching it live on BS3TVLive.com, Roku TV via BS3, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. And we will return right after this.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street y'all done had problems, maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. Welcome back to the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. It is presented by BS3 Network. And if you want to be part of Shift Nation, all you have to do is get to the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel, and you can watch it live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, and participate and engage. Because Shifter, the power that you provide is what powers this show. That's right. The BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel is where you go if you want to be not just a shifter, but part of Shift Nation. And speaking of which, let's go to Shift Nation right now, shall we? And my man Playmaker going with the government. He says, "Aw, the morning shift. Time to start the day. You doggone right." A great episode last night of Monarchs of Wrestling along with Cool McCain, Playmaker. And I was blessed to be on the Shooting Lights Out platform as we head into Olympics coverage. It was great to actually not only share the stage with Playmaker, but also for the first time for me, the Queen of Hoops, Megan Price. It was great to meet her. And I said to you, and I'll say it to the public out there, her basketball knowledge is vast. And it was wonderful to actually listen to the breadth of knowledge that she has in the game, along with Playmaker and his breadth of knowledge as well, because his breadth of knowledge of basketball is expansive as well. My man Snowman, what's up, brother? He says, "Good morning, Shift Nation." Welcome to the best way to start your day, the morning shift. I like that. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I hope your day is going well. Hope your day is going better. And if he is actually going to be broadcasting, normally he'll be broadcasting about 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. if you're in Chicago, or where I am in Nashville, 7 a.m. if you are on the West Coast. And that'll be Snowman in the morning with him, the super producer. That's right, the big dog Shane Lake, and the Ed McMahon of the show, Vicala. Hopefully you will enjoy that with them, as I'm sure that they have a lot to say about all things in the world of sports as football gears up and the Olympics is right around the corner. Ryan McCarthy, No Credentials Required fame. You can catch him tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. That's on the No Creds, CREDS, REQ YouTube channel. You will join him with Dustin Henry. He says, "Good morning, fellow shifters, and good morning to you, one of my faithful shifters. I really do appreciate you, and I have much love for you, sir." And speaking of much love, my man, my main man, my best friend, my mentality partner, Wise Lefe, Stuck in My Mind podcast. Again, you just saw the commercial. You can catch him every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, as he interviews someone, and you can carve some inspirational nugget from him, as he does it almost as well as like and I'm blanking on the blanking on the late interviewer's name, but yes, I was thinking in the actor studio, and Wise sort of gives you that type of feel and vibe every time he does interviews. Good morning, shifters, he says, and good morning to you, my fellow shifter in Wise. And you'll be able to catch also Mentality as a special episode, a special date that we're going to air will be later on today. And we, of course, talk about all things men's health and all of that. And my man, Cool McCain, I'm sorry, let me not slight you. Also, this is the CEO of Real Wise Productions. Thank you, James Lipton. Thank you, sir. The first name just was not coming to my brain. Thank you, sir. James Lipton. Yes. Wise gives you James Lipton of In the Actor Studio vibe when he does interviews. It's very conversational, and he just invites you in, and you look up and you realize, wow, this was an interview. And you just have this conversation that took place about, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes long, and it just goes like that. You love him. You love the show. My brother, Cool McCain, the other half of Monarchs of Wrestling, wonderful show again yesterday. He says, good morning, my fellow shifters. Good morning to you, sir. I hope everything's good with you. Of course, you can catch him tomorrow night, Eagles Elite Podcast, as, of course, the NFL starts training camp. So you get to hear a lot of stuff from him, from the Eagles, and possibly even from the other NFC East rivals as well, knowing him. And Ryan says, we're on actually tomorrow night at 8:05 Eastern, so it's not going to be tonight. It's going to be Wednesday night with a special guest, and it was moved because their guest couldn't make it tonight. So again, programming note, tomorrow night, 8:05 Eastern, 7:05 Central, 5:05 out in LA. No credentials required with him, Ryan McCarthy, and Dustin Herring. Well, speaking of things that have been moved, how about on Saturday, the Democratic presidential nominee, presumptive, because it's still presumptive, was Joe Biden. And 48 hours later, it has now become Kamala Harris. Again, presumptive nominee. Now, in the rush to actually find the guy, or in this case, the woman who can lead the party the way that they see fit to a presidential election victory over Donald Trump, they still haven't hammered home a name, but looks like the Democratic Party is circling their wagons around her. So in that case, who should be her vice presidential nominee? Well, there are many candidates that will run through the list. Oh my goodness, I gave it away. We are going to run through it in the list. All right, so as Democrats are coalescing around vice presidential candidate, vice president and future presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, and bolstering up her presidential bid, eyes now are turning as to who she should pick as a running mate. That is if she can secure the party's nomination, and that will happen, let me see, it's the 23rd. So let's see, 92 is 28, 30 days from today. Officially, it would be 30 days from today. In the week since the President Biden's debauchery of all things debate and the NATO summit, which has pushed many on the left to amplify calls for him to drop out of the race, a handful of Democrats has been seen as potential candidates to run in his stead. And of course, the chief name amongst them would be one Kamala Harris. So in that stead, who should be the person who would run side by side with her? Now, some of these candidates that we'll mention have been floated around as vice presidential candidates. Some even have been floated around as presidential candidates in this late hour. But notably, most of these potential picks actually are under the age of 60, which could provide a strikingly different Democratic ticket than simply 1 week ago. But the potential Veeps have a different kind of challenge. Unfortunately, almost all of them have low national name recognition and less than 100 days to change that perception. Well, they better get started. Well, along these names, who could be considered? Well, probably the strongest name that you can consider would be Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Now, he leads a state that is crucial to this election, as it was in 2020, obviously. Both Republicans and Democrats know the stakes are high, as it has seen more political ads than any other in this cycle. The 51-year-old is fairly popular in the state and among Democratic circles, and is the first-term governor in Pennsylvania, holding a sizable victory 2 years back. He trounced his Republican competitor by nearly 15 percentage points. The Trump campaign has put a lot of time and energy and money into campaigning in Pennsylvania, as noted by the assassination attempt, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before. But they also know that there's other states that be in contention, such as Michigan and Wisconsin. But while Shapiro may be a household name in Pennsylvania, he, like many of the others on what I'm going to say on this list, are not quite nationally known as Kamala. So while he has a reputation as a competent governor and a former state attorney general, his broader appeal is a question mark, and so is Kentucky Governor Andy Bashir. I'm sorry. He's a small part of a small club within the Democratic governors, which actually he leads a bleeding red state. Yes, Kentucky is conservative, but he is a Democrat, and he's actually the governor of the state. And he's also maintaining popularity and has gained a reputation as someone who works well across the aisle, with a 52% approval rating, with only 29% disapproving, according to April Morning Consult poll. That's actually a notable popularity boost, given, of course, one Mr. Biden receiving much, much lower marks in the same state. Now, if Kamala picks Mr. Bashir, the 46-year-old will be the youngest Democratic presidential ticket on the presidential ticket since Mr. Don't Stop himself, President Bill Clinton, and former Vice President Al Gore. They ran more than 30 years ago, and both of them were about 45-ish around that time. Now, like Shapiro and Bashir, who also is not known on the national stage, another is not quite known on the national stage, and he governs also a swing state himself, and that would be North Carolina's Governor Roy Cooper. Right now, he is fending off a challenge from possibly having a Republican takeover in Mark Robinson, but Democrats are hoping to flip North Carolina this fall. In the last cycle, Biden lost the state by less than 2 percentage points, and having Cooper on the ticket, Democrats would hope and help make up that difference and help deliver a much-needed 15 electoral votes. Harris has been a frequent visitor to the Tar Heel state throughout Biden's term. Now, her trip to Fayetteville, which is near Fort Bragg, last week, marked her 15th stop there since taking office, and her 7th in 2024. Harris and Cooper have known each other for more than a decade, first working together when Cooper was a state attorney general. And of course, Harris served as an attorney general in California. Cooper is a term limited as governor, and will be leaving the office at the end of 2024. Now, for his biggest obstacle, for Cooper, his biggest obstacles are lack of national name recognition, of course, and being 67, his age, and that North Carolina is seen as a political reach for Democrats, considering that this is in the South, and it has tended to go back to being red. Then there is Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Now, you might know the name, and he probably does have a little bit more national recognition than the names that I've mentioned before, seeing as though he ran for president back in 2020. And his bid makes him more recognizable than the others. Now, as a member of the Biden administration also, and a former mayor of a small city in Indiana, he could speak to the White House's record and potentially appeal to Midwest voters. He's also seen as one of the Democratic Party's best messengers, willing to debate seemingly anyone on any outlet, even Fox. He's acquitted himself well in those settings, as well as congressional hearings, defending the Biden administration's policies and the president himself. Also, the age is a little bit on the welcoming side. The 42-year-old cabinet official will join the GOP vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance as the second millennial on a presidential ticket. Both Buttigieg and Harris will also be the youngest ticket for Democrats since the aforementioned Gore Clinton, no, I should say Clinton Gore ticket in 1992. He is also another, I guess, hook. Buttigieg is also the first openly gay man to hold a cabinet position, and while he would be the first person to appear on a major party ticket to be openly gay, his prominent position in the Biden cabinet in 2020, half of Americans probably would have either no opinion of him or a negative one about him. And then there is Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. He's 60, which is around the same age as Kamala Harris. And he represents another key swing state in the presidential race, that being Arizona. And it was tilted into the Democratic favor in 2020. Now, he is a former astronaut, a husband of former Representative Gabrielle Giffords. Now, you might recognize the name. She unfortunately was seriously injured in a mass shooting in 2011 and has proven to be a strong fundraiser for Democrats. Now, Kelly has joined Giffords as a loud voice on gun violence prevention, which is a big platform for Democrats. And Harris has also made tackling gun violence a priority throughout her time as vice president, and more than likely will ramp up those efforts being a presidential nominee. Kelly would also help blunt the GOP message on immigration, given that he is actually a senator in a border state and has put some separation between himself and Biden on border policy. Now, he and Giffords also recently penned an op-ed about their struggle to have children together and revealed that she was undergoing IVF treatments during the time that she was shot. Women's reproductive rights also will be a major issue in this campaign, and one that Harris has endlessly campaigned on during her time as VP. Now, Kelly's seat won't be up for another 4 years, but if Kelly were to join Harris on the ticket and they win, of course, it would create a competitive race to fill his seat in Arizona. Now, while Kelly cuts a good profile, nationally, many people don't really know him. But one person that the nation seems to really know very well would be California Governor Gavin Newsome. They know him so well that people pretty much have him rumored to be the 2028 presidential contender in the Democratic Party, and has been a key Biden ally throughout the campaign. He's also has been seen as one of the Democratic Party's best messengers, with a facility for facts and numbers that stands as a stark contrast to Biden. He gained a degree of notoriety in sitting for an hour-long interviews with Sean Hannity and Fox and debating Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis on a conservative cable outlet. The California governor has, though, long-standing political baggage dating back to early of his career, and if he and Harris would run, it would cause a constitutional conflict. What would that be? It is written in the Constitution that a presidential nominee and a vice presidential nominee cannot reside from the same state. So pretty much that would rule him out, I would say. Then there's Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. That almost reeks of an Obama pick right there for me. 59-year-old progressive billionaire who has been a vocal supporter of Biden and often goes in the offensive against Trump. This strikes, as I said, to me as an Obama suggestion. Despite his wealth, he has a blue-collar appeal. He's from the Midwest, which it could help with the blue wall states. The problem, though, Illinois is a Democratic hotbed. So, I mean, it's basically you have Kamala, who's from California. That also is a Democratic hotbed. You have Pritzker from Illinois, Democratic hotbed. You pretty much have those two sown without even having them be in either one of those states. Eeh. But then an interesting choice, although she said that she would not, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The 52-year-old has been a rising star for a good minute in the Democratic Party, and she was on the short list of names for Biden to be the vice presidential nominee back in 2020. And she served as a co-chair of Biden's re-election campaign. Oh, yeah, and of course, her state of Michigan will be up for grabs because it has been crucial for Democrats to claim. But there has never been an all-female presidential ticket, which probably would be a hurdle for some and a cause for celebration for the other. And of course, it would be the stark contrast to the Trump Vance ticket on the other side. Well, whatever she chooses, whomever she chooses, it would have to be a smart choice. Hopefully, it's one that she can live with and one that could be strategically best suited for the position. But then again, will she actually be your next presidential nominee from the Democratic side? Well, that is the list. Coming up next, the Olympiad in Paris is close at hand. The City of Lights will be beaming bright. You're listening to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on the Real Wise Radio Network. You're watching it live on BS3TVLive.com, Roku TV via BS3, and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. We will be right back right after this. The moderator.
As woman, you can't be too friendly because the minute you're friendly, then they think you're flirting.
The level head.
I think so that thing is over. So I'm not looking at men like that anymore.
The truth slayer.
Okay, what in the HPV yeast infection is going on over here?
The X factor.
So I'd rather you tell me everything up front and let's start fresh.
The intersection of life and spirituality never sounded this good. BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Kentucky, home of great natural scenery and Churchill Downs. The Bluegrass State has offered 3 jewels. The University of Kentucky.
And the Kentucky coronation is complete.
Terry Brown.
Some people from Louisville, from Kentucky. I don't like the Derby. Okay, cool. Like, all right, I'm going to keep it moving.
And Vinny Hardy.
Us growing up on the border, we all went to school with Tennessee fans. We all had some teachers that was Tennessee fans.
BS3 Network proudly presents 2 men with Kentucky on their minds and all of the sports matters at hand. Cats Talk Wednesday, live every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
So, sit back, tune in, tell a friend. This Dope Cookie Show, we about to get started, and it's about to go down. Check me out.
Join your culinary master of ceremonies, Chef Jeff, as he introduces to you This Dope Cooking Show. Live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central. Welcome back to the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson, presented by BS3 Network. You are live right now. I'm sorry, let me do it Brent Musburger style. You are looking live at BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson, and you're watching it either on Roku TV via BS3, BS3TVLive.com, or the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. And if you're not watching us, you're listening to us on the Real Wise Radio Network. It is great that you are here, Shifter, and popular topic amongst the shifters and Shift Nation. I'm loving the interaction, gentlemen and well, ladies, but I'm loving the interaction with you all. You're doing wonderful over there. to the playmaker. He says, yesterday was good to get out our showcase, quote, in quotes, run before the Olympics, talking about shooting lights out. It was great to actually have it was great to share the platform with Megan and you, sir. Cool McCain, he says, head shift in charge. What it do? Everything is lovely on this side of the earth, brother. I hope everything is good where you are too, man. Ron McCarthy, who on No Criticism Required, he has something similar, no, actually the same name, but it's a whole lot different because it channels Chris Jericho back when he was running a gimmick with Kevin Owens about, almost 10 years ago. And he had this gimmick where he would have this, I guess you would have this on a clipboard and a pen, and he would obnoxiously say, "You just made the list." And of course, it got over like gangbusters. My list won't ever be as good as yours. Mine is a little too on the just the facts, ma'am side. Yes, I know. Wise, I know that I know the Democratic National Convention starts on the 19th, but the when the person who actually officially announces they're going to be the presidential nominee for their party, it normally takes place on day 4. So I was thinking of which day they would be. So yes, day 1 would be the 19th, day 4 would be the 22nd, and that is when either Kamala or whomever is going to accept the nomination officially. That is the day that it's going to be. So that's why I was saying it would be 30 days from today. But yes, 27 days from today is when the convention begins. And that is the date, the 19th of August in Chicago. Now, my brother Wise lives in the state where I mentioned Josh Shapiro. He's from PA. And obviously, you all love him. I did a little coverage around the area around the time he got elected and just a little bit after his election. And yeah, Pennsylvanians seem to really love him. And of course, you do have your conservatives that rail against him, but for the most part, Pennsylvanians seem to love him. So so to me, I get why the appeal is there. Victor Locke mentioned you earlier. He says, "Good morning to Shiv Nation Worldwide. How's it going, Wise Man? Cool Breeze, McCain, Espresso McCoffee, Kingpin Snowman, Super Hacker Playmaker, and the EP of all EPs, Cole Johnson." And then the owner, the manipulator, the operator, the BS3 network, Benjamin Southeth the third says, "Good morning, Cole and Shifters. Good morning to you, sir. Wonderful episode last night. The Redeem Team, which also co-starred Cats Talk Wednesday. It was great to actually see you all. I'm going to actually watch this episode in its entirety when I get the time later today." Oh, man. And Mr. McCarthy, who is well adapted actually in politics, he says, "Look, the more I think about it, the more I think Harris might not pick Josh Shapiro. If she does, the pro-Palestinian bloc of the party will revolt." That's a good analysis, actually, man. The problem with that is I think she needs to get somebody as moderate as him. But yes, I get what you mean. Because if she were to get somebody more along the lines that is as progressive as she is, that would pretty much alienate half of the country just by the ticket. So I think she needs to lean towards somebody like him. And I think more than likely, if she is going to be the person who's going to be on the main name on the ticket, I think Shapiro is going to be the person. If not, they're probably going to heavily try to convince Whitmer. I just get the feeling. They want to have, the Democratic Party wants to have an all-female ticket. They want to make history. They're already thinking about making history of having the first major Black female candidate for president. Why not have an all-female ticket? So I'm thinking if she doesn't pick Shapiro, they're gonna do a full court press in Lansing to get Whitmer on the ticket. She already is familiar with the administration. I'm thinking they're going to be begging and pleading like James Brown. Gretchen, please be the VP. Please be the running mate. Oh yeah, full court press on Gretchen Whitmer. Otherwise, they would go for Newsome, but I don't think they want the constitutional issue that would pop up. Well, from politics on this soil to meritocracy overload on French's soil. The Olympiad that's going to take place, the opening ceremony is only 3 days away, and there's going to be many things to look forward to. What to look forward to? Well, on today's cover story, that is what we're going to uncover and unearth. Now, I mean, you have, of course, a whole lot of events. In fact, tomorrow begins the soccer portion of the Olympiad. So we're going to get stuff underway before even the opening ceremonies begin. And so the largest stage of athletes will take place starting Friday, officially. Now, after back-to-back games without spectators, talking about, of course, the Summer Olympiad and the Winter Olympiad that followed, and families and friends with COVID protocols so restrictive that they exacted a toll on athletes' mental health as well. This summer and this Olympiad will be a reset. It will be a dazzling affair, complete with the City of Light, the Eiffel Tower in the background, Notre Dame, and Les Invalidas, never far from view. Now, those famous venues will echo with the roar of fans again, as the games, as spectacular as they are, will also feature the athletes being able to share their triumphs, of course, nurse their disappointments with their loved ones on site rather than over a computer screen. Gabby Thomas, who won silver medal with the U.S. in the 4x100 relay and a bronze in the 2021 Olympiad in Tokyo, says, quote, "It's the moment after. Once I had the medal and I looked up and I realized no one was there, it was weird. So I'm really excited to share that moment," close quote. And we'll be excited to share that moment with you, Gabby. Man. So when initially awarded, these games were meant to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the most recent Olympics in Paris, and the last under such guidance of Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the modern Olympiad. But after a COVID pandemic which shrunk the worlds, the Paris Olympics and the Paralympics have become a testament of resilience, of sport and of human spirit. And the normalcy seemed so far out of reach at the Tokyo Games, which had to be delayed by a year, and again in Beijing, which took place in an environment that was sterile in every sense of the word, has returned. And Paris will be a celebration of that as much as the basic performances of the athletes. Now, the Olympics officially will be held from July 26th to August 11th, and the Paralympics from the 28th of August to the 8th of September. Thomas went on to say, quote, it's going to just be an incredible setting, especially coming off a weird Tokyo Olympics where no one could be there. Paris is so stunning. It's going to be such a beautiful moment, close quote. Now, here are questions, possibly 10, that could be answered here with the Olympics and Paralympics. Now, which landmarks will be used? Well, this opening ceremony will take place on the Seine River, beginning just east of Notre Dame and passing by the famed cathedral that has been rebuilt after a catastrophic fire in 2019. Then the Louvre, Place des Concorde, La Invalides, the Grand Palais, and the Eiffel Tower before finishing at the Trocadero. Beach volleyball will be played at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, while equestrian and modern pentathlon events will take place at Versailles, the Grand Palace built by Louis XIV. The Grand Palais will host fencing and taekwondo beneath its spectacular green roof, while archery will be held at Les Invalides, the magnificent golden domed museum that houses Napoleon Bonaparte's tomb. Place de la Concorde, with its famous Egyptian obelisk and views of the Eiffel Tower and Les Vadelles and the Arc de Triomphe will also be home to 3-on-3 basketball, BMX freestyle, skateboarding, and breaking. Yes, breakdancing will be a part of the Olympics. Tennis will also be played on the clay courts of Roland Garros, of course, the iconic home of the Grand Slam tournament, the French Open. Oh, and then the marathon and triathlon and road cycling events will traverse all throughout the city. Now, the opening ceremony, as I said, is going to take place along the Seine River. The traditional Parade of Nations is now going to be a flotilla. Yes, for the first time in Olympic history, the opening ceremony will not be held inside a stadium. Instead, athletes from the 200-plus countries will board boats and barges and float down the Seine with spectators alongside the riverbanks, able to watch the roughly 3.5-mile parade from the river's quays and embankments. Audacious as the plan is, it's one that sparked both awe and security concerns as well. Organizers have cut access in half from 600,000 that they expected to have. Roughly 100,000 fans with tickets will be on the riverbank, while 220,000 residents of Paris and other cities will be hosting Olympic events, which allowed to watch from above. Now, and I mentioned security. How big a concern is it? Well, France has a history of terrorism by Islamic extremists, including coordinated efforts back in 2015, of course, which famously left 130 dead and another 400 wounded. And of course, you have now COVID restrictions relaxed, and you have the tensions between Israel and the United States. And this might be the first game since Rio where there are no barriers, geographical or COVID related, who can enter and host the country. So you have that. Now, I mentioned the open ceremony that will be on the Seine. Will there be events that will go along there? Well, the swim portion of triathlon, along with the marathon swimming, are to be held in the Seine near the Eiffel Tower. Anyone who has seen a public waterway, they know they're magnets for trash and debris. That's good to know, right? The water will be tested every morning during the Olympiad and the sports governing bodies and the World Aquatics and the World Triathlon. Hopefully they can actually take care of it. Now, speaking of dirty water, you think about diseases. And we talked about the COVID restrictions. Will that be a factor? More than likely it won't be, but in the games, they're treating it like any other communicable disease. And that's the best way you can put it. Now, there has been concerns about heat. In fact, I think we did a story last month that the U.S. and other countries are going to be bringing units of air conditioning to the Olympic Village. Rising temperatures around the globe and extreme heat in France in recent summers have participating countries taking those matters in their own hands. Now, the athletes to watch, of course, you got Simone Biles, of course. You got LeBron James, who's going to be toting the flag. Let me see. You have Sha'Carri Richardson, of course, in the track and field portions. And, of course, like I said, along with James, you also have Breonna Stewart and Stephen Curry and Diana Taurasi. Pretty much they will, in basketball, be probably making, in Curry's case first, but also in his case as well, along with the other names I just mentioned, probably be the last, except for possibly A'ja Wilson. I can see her actually playing in 2028. Now, will the Russians be in Paris? Yeah, they will be. So hopefully that there will not be issues there. Is there another doping scandal that's a front? Possibly. And this one's particularly bad, of course. And of course, in Paris, you have the annual Tour de France, and you have doping and blood doping accusations that has run aplenty for decades. Now, I mentioned the new sport of breaking, which I don't really call it sport, but yeah, it's a sport that's probably about 40 years a little too late. But hopefully we'll have fun in watching this 2-week spectacular unfold in Paris. And good luck to all the athletes. May you all celebrate the fun that is being united as one planet. Celebrating your country, but uniting under one global roof. And that is today's cover story. And that is all the time, unfortunately, I have. I thank you so much for joining me, Shifter. You all are what makes this show tick and what makes me tick. For all of us here at BS3 Network, the Morning Shift, and the Comey Media Network, I am Cole Johnson, here to say, imparting as I always do. If you don't have consistency, you won't finish. If you don't have the compassion to actually start it, you will lack starting it. And if you lack love, you most certainly won't conquer. Until we meet again in 23 Hour Shifter, I love you. I hope everything is well with your world. Be blessed in everything that you do, and you're a blessing. And why do I know that? Because you're a blessing to me. I love you. Take care of yourself and bless somebody in this world. So long, everyone.